Hello everybody, my name is Peng Sun. I hope everything is going well with you. Right now, I am in front of Prasat Promkal Temple that located just in front of Angkor Wat Temple in the northwestern corner on the way to Angkor Thom compound. Okay, don't go away, please wait for the magnificent legend that I'm going to narrate after the fact file of the temple. And now, please follow me to see the temple inside together. Let's go. This temple is a single tower chapel. It was built in the late 12th century in the reign of King Jayavarman VII, later than Angkor Wat Temple, about 60 years. The chapel is still in good condition after it has got restoration and put the reinforced to hold the top part. In front here, we can see the trace of the sandstone causeway that in those days it was probably guarded by the lion statues, but they are gone now. In the main shrine, we have some carvings on the lintel and on the wall. Inside here used to be a Buddha image for the people and especially the peasants who came to hospital nearby to pay respect and revere. Until present day, the local people still come to pray in this tiny Buddhist chapel almost every day. The interesting point of this tiny chapel is its legend. The chapel's name is Prasat Promkal, means the temple of Anghilotek Brahman, and the legend narrated as follows. Long time ago, there was a king with dark skin, had a holy bar that made from bambak seba tree, named Dombong Krenyung. His name means black holy bar, crowned the throne in Angkor after he rebelled against the royal king successfully, and he became the 17th reign of Khmer king. When the Dombong Krenyung seized the capital city, all the royal families tried to flee away, and the soldiers and factions chased them and burned them down. The second prince of the royal emperor was still very young, about 6 to 7 years old. The lady in waiting couldn't take the prince to escape. The prince was caught by the soldiers, and the soldier threw the prince onto fire. Luckily, one of those soldiers was kind-hearted and walked at last. Seeing the prince struggle, that soldier pulled his leg out from the fireburn and threw the prince to the side near the rattan bush that Khmer language called crag. That night, the rain and shower came down non-stop. The next day morning, the monk chief walked past that area to collect alms as normal. When the monk was walking on his way, he heard the screaming from the bush, and he looked. By the sound, he found a boy got wounded on the body. In such a miserable condition, the monk took him to his pagoda and take care of him. The time passed by. The wounds started to heal, but his limbs became ankylosis, making it impossible for him to stand on his feet and move forward and backward, or leftward or rightward. The prince had to move on his buttocks. That is why the prince was called Promkal, while some people prefer calling him Ponye Krai. For his part, King Dombong Krenyung ruled the empire for 7 years and 7 months. One day, he got an omen and ordered the astrologist to predict his luck, as if there is anybody attempt coming or seizing the power from him. After calculating for a while, by the omen, the astrologist paid homage and told the king, "Your Majesty, you could rule this empire for only 7 years, 7 months, and 7 days. So there is only 7 days left. Your goodness will disappear. They will have one meritorious man coming to seize your throne." Hearing the prediction, King Dombong Krenyung thought to himself that if there is a boy come to grab my throne, I will throw my black stick to crush him. If he wins, I would step down and transfer my throne to him in order to avoid any conflicts between Khmer and Khmer that would cause any bloodshed. There would be no sin among Khmer subjects in the country, and I would then be cursed or insulted by the next generations. The words of the prediction then spread to every subject. When the 7 days came at last, people from every corner of the kingdom thronged the capital, waiting to catch a glimpse for a meritorious man. Bonya Krek or Promkal also wanted to go to the capital. He asked the permission from the monk chief to go and see the holy man like the others. He managed to miserably move on his buttocks on the way toward the capital. Promkal believed and hoped that if the holy man did present himself, the sick, blind, and disabled persons would recover, could see and walk. Promkal arrived at the southern part of the capital and took a rest under a big Bodhi tree nearby a pond, waiting to welcome the holy man. Suddenly, there was a sage with a big bag, a pack of cooked rice, and a container of water coming out. Walked a horse and moved up to Promkal. He left his horse and staff with Promkal and asked him to keep watch as he had to go to see the holy man. He said to Promkal and smiled, "You cannot walk, so you won't be able to see the holy man, and you would be trampled to death." He told Promkal that if he felt hungry or thirsty, he could have the rice and water. Like what he wished, all his limbs were recovered, and Promkal had the same limbs and could use them as the other people. He started to feel hungry and remembered the words of the sage had told. Promkal drank the water from the container and used it to wash his face and body. All the scars on his body suddenly vanished, making Promkal look so much better in appearance than the other people did, that one could hardly identify or recognize him. Then Promkal started to have the cooked rice in the package. He suddenly felt stronger and more powerful than before. All this miracle event made Promkal more courageous. He then untied the sage bag. There he found the most beautiful ever outfits and jewelry. Promkal put on those old stuffs and found that they were perfectly fit. It was then that Promkal came to understand and believe that he himself was the holy man. Promkal mounted on the horse, which started to fly toward the palace. Upon seeing the meritorious man riding on a white horse flying, like the words of the astrologist, the waiting crowd started to cheer. As for the king, Dambong had waited for a long time to meet the holy man. He was so furious at the appearance of the holy man. He grabbed his holy stick and threw at Promkal in order to kill him. But the stick lost the magic spell, falling to hit the holy man and falling down to the ground, where it became a small river, which was since known as Old Dambong, means the river of the stick. And the area was also called Bat Dambong, means the lost stick, until present day. Now it becomes a province near Thailand. Witnessing such a spectacular miracle, people, officers, and soldiers all bow down to the ground in respect for Promkal. The king Dambong, realizing that he had no more power and merits, and he also knelt down to the ground, submission to Promkal. He handed over the throne to Promkal as he had promised before wandering out of the kingdom on the way to Laos country. And Promkal had declared himself as king of Khmer Empire from that time, named for the coronationព្រះបាទពញ្ញក្រែក ranked in 18th reign of Khmer king. This place, which was the king met the great sage, and the name was called after him, Promkal Temple. And the lake to the south near the chapel was also called in which the horse drank the water, Trapiang Seh, that means the horse lake from that time onward. Everybody, after listening to the long legend, I hope you feel good and enjoy. My journey will make video on every single temple by its order, and the next video will be on Bakeng Hill. And at the end of my video, I never forget to thank to all my subscribers who always viewing my videos, and also thank to Uncle Silin Tour and Travel Company for sponsoring our activities. Thank you so much and see you later. Bye bye.